Court is in session. The Honorable Judge Hanson presiding. The People versus Hamlet. Hamlet is accused of causing Ophelia's death.
It's just causing, not actually murdering now.
Wait, yeah, I'm not.
It's always been causing.
I got you, Ben.
Causing.
Oh, we got it.
More murder. Oh, there he is. Opening statement. I pulled the
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Miss Johnson.
All right. Opening statements, Judge. Judge. Opening statements from the prosecution.
Go.
And opening statements and begin your case.
So, here we are. And there sits a murderer of 4 people, but today we're just proving one, which is he murdered Ophelia, his lover, at a certain time, and then they had falling out. She was pregnant, and he killed her for that reason by kicking her off a branch into a river, causing her to drown, which is thus causing death. And we're going to prove this through our physical evidence as well as textual support, which will be written right there with the page number and act. And I'll also read the quotes. So yes, Hamlet did murder Ophelia because he was capable of murder, as illustrated by his murder of Polonius prior to it, and he was present at the time that she was killed, and we have evidence proving he in fact killed her. So the first witness we call is Hamlet. Good stand. Stand, I guess. I'm not sure.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I swear no. Your job? Anyway, did you kill Polonius?
Why, yes, I did.
As illustrated by, said I quote for different times when questioning Polonius. Did you kill Ophelia?
I did.
Is this a picture of you killing Ophelia?
Objection. Objection. That's not me.
Excuse me, can we at least use our evidence first?
I am.
Objection, I'm pretty sure Hamlet looks slightly more
He's not white.
individual.
Racist. Right there. Right.
Yeah, there we go.
So yes, this is in fact a picture of you kicking Ophelia into the water, causing her death.
That is me.
This
It's a photograph.
sustained.
Exactly. Legitimate. Which one do I pass it?
Give it to the bailiff. Ivy.
Ivy's the picture. Okay. When did you return to Denmark from the voyage you were sent on by the king to kill you?
I returned Tuesday.
And when did you kill Ophelia?
Wednesday.
Yeah, there you go. Is this your footprint we found on Ophelia's stomach in a broom?
It looks like it.
She has the same pattern as his shoes of the shoulders. Zigzags.
I don't see it.
That doesn't matter, Shane. You're not the active judge. Other evidence. There we go. And why did you kill Ophelia?
I impregnated her, and you see, I'm not a big fan of babies, so
Really?
I wasn't ready to be a father.
As illustrated by page 55, when you say, "Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners?" meaning that women breed sinners which are babies, so he hates babies. Fascinating. That is all we have. Okay. Have some manners, okay? That's your class here before you get Shane. You have ties on. Let's have some class and treat each other's cases.
Hey, I've got a sports coat.
Anyway, prosecution calls doctor to stand. Sports coat is a coat. Oh, yeah.
Whereas you can just stand up.
Wrong, there's a slight mix-up.
Yeah,
This is
stand
back
up.
to Ghost. Probably should call Ghost and stand.
Okay. Wait, did you?
I don't hold the ghost
Ghost stand, yes, that happened. Bebout, you said we couldn't do that. Oh, really? That's a ghost, they're sitting on stand right now, being sworn in.
I don't see any objection. You can't call an apparition to the stand. I mean, if you sustain, go back to your seat.
Thank you.
No, sustain means he wins.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's fine. Fine, but,
Try the doctor again.
actually, we'll just go for what happened with Polonius based on the book then. So, when Polonius was murdered, so, according to these individuals who believe something completely ridiculous, did you not laugh at my face, please? I'm trying to be serious here, Brittany. No man. Yeah. So, Polonius was murdered by Hamlet when he was hiding behind the curtains because he was listening in. So Hamlet, of course, pulls out his knife and stabs him because he's a murderous lunatic. So he's bent on killing everyone he can, including Ophelia. And Polonius says, "I'm slain," because he's murdered by Hamlet. And also, he's clearly capable of killing again because he's already killed Polonius. And now we're going to call a doctor to the stand, who's clearly not a ghost. So, before I say,
Right hand.
problem solved.
Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Okay. In your medical opinion, was Ophelia pregnant?
Yes.
Great. Did you perform the autopsy on Ophelia after she was dead?
I did.
Great. David. Do I have to walk over there every time? This is slightly time consuming. Okay. I know, I have to walk. Anyway. Did you find the footprint, which is somewhere around this room now, on Ophelia's stomach?
Yes.
Interesting. What was Ophelia's cause of death? Was it drowning?
She drowned.
Right. And I think that's all we have for you. Yeah, there's the proof that she's pregnant also. Yes. And they look mysterious. This is up there. Oh, there it is.
Totally.
Okay.
Horatio, come to the stand, please.
Second page. Right. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, the whole truth. So help you God.
I do. So help you God.
Super funny show.
When did Hamlet return?
Could the witness speak up, please?
Tuesday. He returned Tuesday. Ophelia was killed on Wednesday. Did you help Hamlet fabricate the letter to create an alibi? And according to Act 4, Scene 7, it says we're there's a letter from Hamlet reading that he went on a voyage when he was clearly back. Thank you.
Okay. Call the fire captain who had Hamlet. Synonymous. Excuse me, can we wait for your turn to talk to interrogate witnesses? Be great. Thomas, I appreciate you. Respect you. Anyway, so yeah. Did you take Hamlet onto your ship? Aye. Okay, so that's a good sign. When did you return Hamlet to Denmark after you took him off the ship he was sent on to go get killed?
So today would be Thursday.
Tuesday then, wouldn't it?
Tuesday. Dropped him off on Tuesday.
Which is one day before Ophelia was killed, thus putting Hamlet back in Denmark when she was murdered by Hamlet. So, that essentially removes any alibi he has, saying he wasn't in Denmark when Ophelia was killed. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all from me. Yep. Now,
Sir, come to the stand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Aye.
So will you please read to me a few quotes from your book claiming what you saw and what you heard while you were in England?
Yes, since I'm an expert journalist, as well as a servant. First of all, Hamlet is acting suspicious. The guards seem pretty spooked about something. Better check it out. It was a ghost of the king. This just in, Denmark is haunted. Hamlet's going off by himself, better follow. There's no way that ghost is fake. This is just in, Hamlet's dad was murdered by his uncle. Better keep an eye on Hamlet to stop this from getting out of hand. We gotta get out of here.
So you're claiming that Hamlet wasn't crazy and that the ghost was real?
Oh, definitely. It was, I ran into a tree. It was tangible even. I mean, it was creepy. So,
Would you like to tell me what you heard from Ophelia?
Ophelia was obviously scared of Hamlet. She was talking to her father about it. Hamlet's been acting a little strange. He comes into her chambers. I was serving tea for them.
Have you ever heard her talking about flowers? Would you like me to explain what the flowers meant when she was singing?
Yeah, I did overhear that. It was after Hamlet killed Polonius, which I was in the room for because I was fixing the queen's bedding and whatnot, like servants do. And suddenly the queen is really upset. Hamlet comes in, yells at her, kills Polonius, who's behind the curtain for some reason. I have no idea. I mean, I always figured he was a little weird, but this is ridiculous. And then, there's blood on the floor. What do you, I mean, I had to get a mop. I was a servant.
Would you like to confirm that you witnessed Hamlet kill Ophelia and that you took the picture?
Yeah, I'm sort of a scene photographer in my spare time, part of my journalist career. And also that whole thing with the daisies. My dad was a florist, you know. So daisies are like unhappy love. That's what that means with flowers. There's a whole language of flowers. I don't speak it, I don't know.
So you're claiming that there was an issue between Hamlet and
Oh.
Ophelia's relationship?
Oh, definitely. I mean, Hamlet just snubbed her. She didn't want to deal with him anymore. It was kind of scandalous. The professor really loved it. Too bad I couldn't get it out without fear of decapitation.
Thank you.
5-minute warning. All right, prosecution rests.
I'll read it to you.
Judge, ready to call a defense to the stand?
Defense, you ready?
All right. Having seen what the prosecution has given us today, I would first like to work on our own case before I refute theirs. Basically, they're trying to prove that Hamlet caused the death of Ophelia, but without a doubt, there was no single reason that he would be able to accomplish this. Yes, they have cited sources that Hamlet has returned early, but I will get to that. Ophelia's father had just recently been killed, so therefore she was under a bit of stress. This type of stress, and anybody mourning the loss of one of their family members can put them at a fragile position. So the possibility of suicide is up there. It's not for certain that she actually killed herself, but it's definitely a possibility in her current state. If you look at the text from Act 4, Scene 7. Sorry about that. There is a willow grows askant the brook, and as you go down farther, clamoring to hang an envious silver broke. Now this envious silver that broke, sliver? Sliver. Excuse me. This envious sliver, which we speak of that is breaking, is actually in fact this branch. Yes, this branch. Would you like to take that to the jury? Thank you.
Be careful.
Tree.
That is irrelevant.
There's no way that's a willow tree, that's
So as you can see, this sliver broke, and if you look farther down in the text, and mermaid like a while they bore her up, which time she changed in snatches of old clods, excuse me. So therefore, as they said with their autopsy, that she died of drowning. But in our coroner's report that we have, it states that there was no show of foul play. Everybody can see that? We'll take it to the jury. Therefore, objection.
But, where's the doctor?
Overruled.
Alright.
We'll get to that.
Okay, thank you for bringing that to question, but I'd like to continue on. So, without this foul play, you can see that Hamlet was not involved in these acts at all, that it was merely an accidental death that pitted Ophelia 6 feet under. Again, as previous evidence from the prosecution that they had a footprint, if Ophelia actually did drown, which we have a coroner's report of, how would a footprint remain on her?
Bruce.
That's a footprint, not a bruise. It's a, yeah, it's on a piece of paper. I won't accept that that's a bruise. It's not a picture. It's clearly a footprint, and that's evidence will be accepted.
To begin, we would like to call Rosie to the stand.
Objection made up person?
Who's your doctor? I've never seen that. Try to call Rosie. She's there.
And your ghost, by the way?
Rosie, would you say that you knew Ophelia long?
Since we were
Would you say that you were close?
the closest,
How close?
she told me everything.
Had you been close in the time leading up to her death?
Yes, we sent letters back and forth weekly.
And in these letters, did she discuss such events as her father's death?
She did not.
She did not, so she did not seem overly prone to mourning or even thoughts of suicide.
Most definitely not suicide.
Okay. Did she seem like a Christian woman to you?
Very much so.
So very religious.
Very.
And as a Christian, do you feel that she would ever resort to suicide? So with suicide out of the question, you may stand.
Could the defense and the prosecution approach the bench, please? Where's Rosie in the book?
Excellent question.
Where's the doctor?
There's a doctor in the book. Yeah.
I was an outside person.
She's an outside person.
Rosie's an outside person. Rosie is
An outside person that knows
Ophelia's
the
best
character
friend.
intimately in the book and never
Okay,
had
you
a
say
interaction.
in that case, not actually.
Talking to the lead attorney.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right, Jen.
Okay. Rosie does not live in Denmark as the rest of the characters in Hamlet do. Rosie is distant as the letters prove, so therefore they were sending them back and forth.
I'll let that stand.
Thank you.
Defense, call your next witness.
As our next witness, we would like to call Gertrude.
Dirty, nice costume.
Sir tells you the whole truth and nothing. So help me God. This is Gertrude. She's dead.
Gertrude dead?
So is Hamlet.
Gertrude's not dead.
Everyone's dead.
Go on.
Objection. They're traveling in time.
Overruled.
Gertrude, were you there at the time of Ophelia's death?
Yes, my poor Ophelia. Dead. But not by him.
What did you see when she died?
Well, there is a willow that grows aslant a brook that shows the hoary leaves in this glassy stream. Therewith fantastic garlands did she make. And therefore I forbid my tears. Too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia, clambering to hang an envious silver brook, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook.
So she fell from the tree.
Yes,
She fell as the branch that we have already presented to the jury broke.
absolutely.
So there was no Hamlet about.
No, there was no one in sight.
No Hamlet kicking her off this branch.
No, sir.
Was that branch even thick enough to hold Hamlet and Ophelia?
Absolutely not. It was mere the size of my wrist.
So with such evidence, we prove that Hamlet could not possibly fit on that branch, nor could he have possibly been able to keep balance and kick her off that branch without falling in himself.
Objection. Clearly that's not the same branch as before, because it's split the wrist.
If you look at the picture.
She said merely.
Mere.
She said the wristband on the wrist. You misheard her.
You heard her on wristband.
The size of her wrist. Overruled.
The size of the wrist of the wristband.
The
Overruled.
size of the branch in evidence.
It's right there.
This is
I guess the branch.
that's not a willow.
That's not a willow.
Yeah.
It's a
We're looking
hybrid.
at time and then
This is a new species of willow.
It doesn't grow in Denmark.
So when she fell in the water, did she attempt to swim?
Yes, she thrashed about in the river, trying to swim, but she could not because her dress was as heavy as mine.
So you suggest that the reason she drowned was because of her heavy garment covered in water, and that she attempted to swim and was not kicked in nor murdered.
Absolutely.
All right, that being said, you can stand. Thank you. And that's all I got.
Oh.
You got a psychology questions?
Yeah.
Well,
Wait. You up again?
Calling the psychologist. Sorry, Chelsea, hold me down.
So, hi. Did Ophelia ever talk about the rumors of pregnancy to you?
She did. She did not understand the rumors. She don't understand them at all because for confidentiality reasons I can't reveal the method, but Hamlet and Ophelia were using a method, an effective method of birth prevention, and she, even if she was pregnant, had no idea that she was pregnant, therefore there was no way that Hamlet ever would have known that she was pregnant.
Okay. And then, did you ever counsel Lord Hamlet?
I did. He was madly in love with Ophelia. He never spoke a ill word of Ophelia. He only spoke of wanting to be with her and her beauty.
Good. What was the relationship between Polonius and Ophelia?
Polonius was extraordinarily overbearing. He sheltered her far too much. Therefore, I believe the reason for her insanity is because when he died, she was not prepared to face the real world. She did not know how to prepare herself to take on the new culture, the new experiences.
So basically what you're saying is that Ophelia's insanity, if she was insane, was because of her mother and not because of Hamlet.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I think that's all.
So once again, the jury has seen that Hamlet, despite the prosecution's case, was not there. Indeed, I could take into mind the man who had him on his ship, and yes, he did say he dropped him off in Denmark on Tuesday, but the jury must take into account the time it takes to travel in this time period. It would not set him at arrival upon his kingdom.
Are you accusing me of a liar?
I just said you were truthful, saying that you brought him back on Tuesday, but the time it takes to travel from a port into his actual kingdom, the amount of time between those two, he probably did not make it back to his kingdom in Denmark. And
Denmark is surrounded by ocean monsters.
Overruled. We're going over this minute.
anyways, and again, you saw that this footprint would not hold up the muddy footprint on a piece of paper because she drowned. That would have washed away. So therefore, that evidence falls. And again, you see no foul play in the coroner's note. Therefore, Hamlet could not have been there to do anything foul, like they said, kicked her or pushed her in. And as you have seen from the many people we have called up, again, her best friend who read to you that there was no chance of her actually jumping into the water, that it broke and it was an accidental cause of death. And the defense rests.
No, we don't, man. Get out of here. For our next witness, we would like to call the real Hamlet to the stand.
Wait a minute. You just rested.
No, he misheard him.
You're saying we all heard this. 5-minute recess. We're going to prepare closing remarks.
Yeah, 5 minutes, both sides.
You have 5.
What?